She demanded, "You need to pay off my $30,000 student loans. A provider clears his woman's debt." I replied, "I am a provider." Then I provided her with a single one-way ticket back to her parents' house. The text she sent when the loan sharks called. "I'm sitting here 3 weeks after the dust settled, and I still can't believe how fast someone can show you who they really are." Laura and I were together for a year and a half. Met through mutual friends at a barbecue. She seemed normal, funny, independent, had her life together. I'm 35, got a decent income, own my house outright. She was 29, working as a coordinator at some nonprofit, living in a small apartment downtown. First 6 months were great. We split everything down the middle. Dinners, movies, gas when we took road trips. She never asked me to pay for her stuff, never hinted at wanting me to cover her bills. That's important because some guys miss that shift when it happens. I didn't. The change started around month 7. Her friend Monica got divorced. Messy one. Husband cheated. Monica took him for everything she could in court. Monica started spending a lot more time with Laura. Girls' nights became 3 times a week. Fine by me. I'm not one of those guys who needs to control who my girlfriend hangs out with, but I started noticing things. Laura would come back from these nights out and make weird comments. We'd be watching TV and she'd say something like, "Monica says a real man should be taking care of his woman financially." I'd look at her and say, "Monica just got divorced because her man was taking care of someone else financially." That usually ended the conversation. But they kept coming, little tests, little comments. We'd be grocery shopping and she'd casually mention, "You know, you could just pay for all of this. It's not like you can't afford it." She'd pull out her wallet to pay her half, and I noticed she had 3 different credit cards visible. I'd respond, "You're right, I can afford it, and you can afford your half." She'd get quiet, but drop it. Then about 10 months in, her car broke down. Transmission. Mechanic quoted her $2,000. She called me from the shop, and I could hear it in her voice before she even asked. "Babe, I don't have $2,000 right now. Could you cover it? I'll pay you back." "How much do you have saved?" I asked. "Like 400. But I need that for rent." "Your rent's not due for 2 weeks. Take the 400, add what you can from your next paycheck and finance the rest. Most mechanics have payment plans." Silence on her end. Then, "Seriously? You're really not gonna help me?" I didn't say I wouldn't help. I said you need to handle it yourself first. If you can't make the numbers work, we'll talk. She hung up on me. Didn't talk to me for 2 days. Then suddenly she was fine again. Back to normal, acting like nothing happened. We wouldn't talk about money for weeks after these incidents, and I thought maybe she'd finally gotten the message. Later I found out Monica lent her the money. That should have been a bigger red flag than it was. Month 11. We're at dinner with her parents. Nice people. Her dad's a retired electrician. Mom's a substitute teacher, middle-class folks. During dinner, Laura's mom mentioned something about Laura's student loans. "Honey, I saw you made another payment. Are you keeping up okay with those?" Laura nodded. "Yeah, it's fine. I've got it under control." Later in the car, I asked, "How much do you owe on those loans?" "Like 30,000. Why?" "Just curious, what's your monthly payment?" 300 and change. It's manageable. Good. That's not too bad. She got quiet. Then, would be nice not to have that payment hanging over me. Keep chipping away at it, you'll get there. She didn't respond. But I felt something shift in the car. Like she'd been expecting me to offer something, and I hadn't taken the bait. Month 13. This is where Monica really ramped up her involvement. Laura started sending me links to social media posts, videos of women talking about what men should provide in relationships, articles about how a man who loves you invests in your future, screenshots of some influencer saying, "If he can't clear your debt, he's not serious about you." I'd ignore most of them. But one night she sent me a video with the caption, "This is actually really true." I watched it. Some woman talking about how a real provider takes care of his woman's financial burdens. How clearing her student loans shows you're committed to building a future together. I texted back, "I'm committed to building a future with someone who handles their own responsibilities." Her response came fast. "So you're saying you won't help me if I need it?" "I'm saying you don't need help with money you borrowed and agreed to pay back. That's your debt from before me." "Wow, that's really cold. That's reality. I'm not your father or your bailout plan. She showed up at my house an hour later. We had it out. She cried, said I was being selfish, said if I loved her, I'd want to help her. I told her love doesn't mean erasing consequences for choices she made before she met me. She left angry. Next week she was fine again. Back to normal. I thought maybe she'd dropped it. Month 15. Her birthday. I took her to a nice restaurant, bought her a weekend trip to a bed and breakfast upstate. Spent about $800 total. She seemed happy. Posted all over social media about what an amazing boyfriend I was. 2 days later, Monica commented on one of Laura's posts. He can spend $800 on a weekend, but won't clear your student debt? Interesting priorities. Laura liked the comment. That's when I knew this wasn't going away. Monica was in her head deep, and Laura was letting her stay there. Month 16. Valentine's Day. I made reservations at the place Laura had been wanting to try for months. Expensive spot. We're talking $200 a plate before wine. Got her flowers, nice jewelry. Again, she was all smiles and social media posts. 3 days later, we're at my place watching a movie, and she pauses it. Can we talk about something serious? Sure. She took a breath. I've been thinking a lot about our future, where this is going. Okay. And I feel like if we're going to move forward, if we're going to get really serious, we need to be on the same page about finances. I'm listening. I need you to understand that my student loan debt is stressing me out. It's affecting my mental health. I can't focus on us, on our future, when I have this hanging over me. What are you asking me, Laura? I'm asking you to pay off my loans. I just looked at her. You're asking me to give you $30,000. Not give. Invest. In us. In our future. Your student loans are not an investment in our future. They're payment for a degree you got before you met me. But they're affecting our future. Don't you see that? What I see is you've been listening to Monica tell you that you deserve a man who'll bankroll your life. She stood up. This isn't about Monica. This is about you showing me you're serious, that you're a provider, that you can take care of your woman. I am a provider. Then prove it. Pay off my loans. I stood up too. I provide for myself. I provide for my home. I'll provide for a wife and kids when I have them. I don't provide for a girlfriend's bad financial decisions. Her face went red. Bad financial decisions? I went to college. That's not a bad decision. You went to an expensive private school for a degree in nonprofit coordination? You could have gone to state school for a quarter of the cost. That was your choice. Your debt. You're unbelievable. I'm realistic, and I'm done having this conversation. She grabbed her purse. Fine. I'm going to Monica's. Good. Take your time. She left. I figured we'd cool off, talk in a few days, maybe break up. Whatever. I wasn't bending on this, but Laura wasn't done. Not even close. 2 days later, she showed up at my house with Monica. Both of them walked in like they owned the place. I was in the kitchen making dinner. We need to talk, Laura said. Who's we? Monica stepped forward. I'm here to support Laura. She's been too afraid to really tell you how she feels. Monica, with all respect, this is between me and Laura. You can leave. No, I'm staying. Someone needs to advocate for her since you clearly don't care about her well-being. I put down my knife. Laura, do you want Monica here for this conversation? Laura nodded. Yes, I do. Fine, say what you need to say. Monica jumped in before Laura could talk. You make good money. You own your house, you have savings. Laura has been nothing but good to you for over a year. The least you can do is help her get out of debt so she can actually breathe. The least I can do is exactly what I've been doing. Being a good boyfriend. That doesn't include paying 30 grand for choices she made. Laura spoke up. It's not just about the money. It's about showing me you're the kind of man who can lead, who can provide, who takes care of his woman. I'm not your ATM, Laura. And I'm not your father. Monica scoffed. There it is, the classic emotionally unavailable man who can't step up when it matters. Monica, you're divorced because your husband cheated on you. Maybe don't give relationship advice. Her face went white. You're an asshole. And you're in my house uninvited. Laura, either Monica leaves or you both do. Laura grabbed Monica's arm. Come on, he's not worth it. They left. I went back to making dinner. Figured that was the end of us. Good riddance. But the next morning, I got a text from Laura. I'm sorry about Monica. Can we talk? Just us? I should have said no. but I wanted to end things cleanly, face to face. So I agreed to meet her for coffee that afternoon. She showed up looking rough, like she hadn't slept. We sat down, ordered coffee, and she started crying before I could even say anything. "I'm sorry. I've been so stressed about money, and Monica's been in my ear, and I just thought if you really loved me, you'd help." "Laura, love isn't about money." I know that, but I'm drowning. The loans, my rent, everything. I feel like I'm just surviving, not living." "Then you need to make changes. Get a roommate, cut expenses, maybe find a better paying job. Or you could just help me. We're in a relationship, couples help each other. Help is driving you to the airport or fixing your sink. Help isn't erasing $30,000 of your debt." She wiped her eyes. "What if I promised to pay you back? We could do a payment plan." "No." "Why not?" "Because I don't want to be your bank. I want a partner, not someone who sees me as a financial solution." She went quiet, drank her coffee. Then she looked at me with something cold in her eyes. "You know what Monica was right about?" "What?" "A real provider doesn't make his woman beg. He just handles it." I finished my coffee. "Then I guess you need to find yourself a real provider. Because I'm done." "You're breaking up with me over this?" "No, you broke up with us when you decided I was a wallet instead of a person." I left cash on the table and walked out. Blocked her number. Blocked Monica. Blocked Laura's social media. Done. Or so I thought. Update 1, the ticket. A week went by. Quiet. Peaceful. Then my buddy Ryan called me. "Dude, you need to check Laura's Instagram." I'd blocked her. "I'm not unblocking her to see whatever drama she's posting. She's posting about you, saying you abandoned her when she needed you most, that you're emotionally abusive, that you manipulated her into thinking your relationship was serious but refused to invest in her future. Let her post whatever she wants. I'm out." Bro, she's getting engagement. Her comments are full of women calling you trash. Some dude even commented that he'd clear her debt if she gave him a chance. I laughed. Perfect. She can date him. But Ryan was right to warn me. By the end of that day, 3 of our mutual friends had texted me asking for my side of the story. Laura's narrative was spreading. Poor girl got used by a rich older man who refused to help her when she was struggling. The posts made me sound like some manipulative finance bro who strung her along. I didn't respond to any of it, didn't defend myself publicly, just told the mutual friends the truth when they asked directly. Most of them saw through her nonsense once they heard about the 30 grand demand. Then 2 weeks after our coffee shop breakup, Laura called me from a different number. I didn't recognize it, so I answered. "Please don't hang up." "Laura, we're done. Stop calling. Just listen for 1 minute, please." Against my better judgment, I listened. "I'm in trouble. Real trouble. Those loan payments I've been making, I've been missing them. For months. I consolidated all my loans through this private lender because they promised lower payments, but the interest is insane, and now they're calling me every day. They're threatening legal action. I'm going to get my wages garnished." That's what happens when you don't pay your debts. Please. I know I messed up. I know I shouldn't have pressured you. But I'm desperate. They're saying I owe $42,000 now with all the late fees and interest. I paused. "You told me it was $30,000. It was, but when I refinanced with that company, they charged me almost $5,000 just in origination and processing fees up front. Then I started missing payments because the new payment was actually higher than my old one, and they hit me with late fees every time. $50 per missed payment, and I missed like 6 months. Plus, their interest rate is 14%, way higher than my federal loans were. Everything just kept adding up and capitalizing. It's 42 now, and that's not even counting the credit cards." Credit cards? I have about $15,000 in credit card debt. I was using them to make my loan payments when money got tight. My stomach dropped. Not out of sympathy. Out of disgust. "So you're $57,000 in debt and you were demanding I pay 30? The 30 would have covered the worst of it, would have stopped them from calling. "Laura, this isn't my problem. But you could fix it. You could write 1 check and save me." "Why the hell would I do that? We're broken up." "Because I'm desperate. Because those aren't regular lenders. I used some online service and I think they're sketchy. They're threatening to come to my work, to contact my family. Student loans don't do that. Who did you borrow from? She got quiet. It's complicated. Laura, who did you borrow from? Some company Monica found online. They advertise everywhere on social media about refinancing student loans with lower payments. She said she'd heard they were good. You refinanced federal student loans with some sketchy private company that Monica found on social media? I was desperate. The payments were killing me. I started laughing. Couldn't help it. So you took out predatory loans because you couldn't afford your regular loans, and now you're in debt to what sounds like loan sharks, and you want me to bail you out? They're not loan sharks. They're a legitimate company. Legitimate companies don't threaten to show up at your work, Laura. She started crying. Please. I'm begging you. I'll sign a contract. I'll pay you back with interest. Just please help me. No. You're really going to let them destroy my life over this? You destroyed your own life. You made every single choice that got you here. I hate you. I believe that. Don't call me again. I hung up, blocked that number too. But the situation stuck in my head, not because I felt guilty, because I was genuinely curious how someone could be this financially stupid. Refinancing federal student loans which have protections and manageable payment plans with some predatory private lender? Taking out credit cards to make loan payments? It was financial suicide. 3 days later, her parents called me. Laura's dad, Jim. Hey, it's Jim, Laura's father. We need to talk. Hi, Jim. What's going on? Laura told us about her debt situation, about the consolidation and the trouble she's in. She made those choices, Jim. I tried to warn her about managing her money better. I know. We're not blaming you. Actually, we're calling because we can't help her either. We don't have $50,000 lying around. We're barely covering our own bills. I understand. She's been calling us crying, saying these people are threatening her. Do you know anything about this company she used? No, just that Monica recommended them and they sound predatory. Jim sighed. That Monica is bad news. Ever since she got divorced, she's been filling Laura's head with nonsense. We tried to tell Laura, but she wouldn't listen. Jim, I'm sorry your daughter's in trouble, but I'm not paying her debt. We're not asking you to. We just wanted to know if you knew anything that could help. Guess not. We hung up. I felt bad for Jim and his wife. They seemed like decent people who raised a daughter that got poisoned by a bitter divorcee and social media nonsense. That weekend, I went out with Ryan. We're at a bar, having beers, and he asks, "You hear from Laura lately?" Her dad called. She's apparently in deeper trouble with those predatory loans. Serves her right. Agreed. But you know what pisses me off most? What? She had a manageable situation. 30 grand in federal loans, 300 a month. She could have paid that off in 10 years, maybe refinanced legitimately later. Instead, she panicked, listened to Monica, and turned a manageable problem into a catastrophic one, all because she wanted someone else to fix it for her. Ryan nodded. Some people are allergic to accountability. Monday morning, I got another call. This time from Monica. You need to help Laura. Who is this? How did you get my number? You know who this is. And I got your number from Laura's phone before you blocked her. She's in crisis, and you're the only one who can help. Monica, I'm going to say this once. Laura's debt is not my problem. She made those choices. She listened to your terrible advice. She refinanced with some predatory company that you recommended. You want to help her? You pay her debt. I don't have that kind of money. Neither do I. Not for her. Yes, you do. You're just selfish. You have savings, a house, a good income. You could help, but you won't. You're divorced because your husband couldn't keep it in his pants. Don't lecture me about relationships or money. You're a coward. A real man would step up. A real man doesn't enable financial stupidity. A real man doesn't pay for someone else's mistakes. And a real woman doesn't manipulate her boyfriend into bankrolling her life. She hung up on me. That night, Laura texted from yet another new number. The company is sending someone to my work tomorrow. I'm going to lose my job. This is your fault. You could have prevented this. I didn't respond, but the next day I did something petty. Something I'm not proud of, but don't regret. I sent Laura a Greyhound bus ticket. One way. From our city to her parents' town 4 hours away. Emailed it to her with a message. You wanted a provider? I'm providing you with transportation back to people who actually love you enough to tell you the truth. Good luck. She called me immediately, screaming. A bus ticket? Are you kidding me? This is your response? You wanted me to be a provider. I'm providing. That's what you get. I'm not going to my parents. I live here. I have a job here. For now, when your wages get garnished and you can't afford rent, that ticket will still be good. Keep it handy. You're sick. I'm practical. You wanted me to invest in your future. Consider that ticket my final investment. Use it or don't. I don't care. I hung up and blocked the new number. Update 2. The fallout. 2 weeks later, Ryan texted me a screenshot. Laura had posted on Facebook. Sometimes you think you know someone. Then they show you who they really are when you need them most. I'm moving home to rebuild my life away from toxic people. Thank you to everyone who supported me. The comments were a mix. Some of her friends saying they'd miss her, others saying she deserved better. But a few people, including someone I didn't know, commented, "Did you ever think that maybe you're the toxic one? Running away from your problems instead of dealing with them?" Laura deleted the comment within minutes, but it was already screenshot and shared. I found out from Jim, who called me a week later, that Laura had indeed lost her job. Not because of the loan situation directly, but because she'd been spending hours on her phone during work dealing with the debt collectors. Her performance had tanked, and she'd burned through all her leave time taking mental health days. They finally let her go. "She's back home with us," Jim said. "Using that bus ticket you sent, actually." She used it? Didn't have a choice, couldn't afford rent after losing her job. Packed what she could fit in 2 suitcases and took the bus home. How's she doing? Angry, bitter, blames everyone but herself. We're trying to talk sense into her, but it's not working. She keeps saying you destroyed her life. Jim, I'm sorry you're dealing with this. Not your fault. We raised her better than this, but somewhere along the way she lost the plot. Started thinking the world owed her something. What's she gonna do about the debt? We got her in touch with a real financial advisor, guys helping her figure out if she can file for bankruptcy or work out payment plans. It's a mess. That company she refinanced with is one step away from being a straight-up scam operation. I tried to tell her not to make stupid financial moves. We did too. She didn't listen. Monica told her what she wanted to hear, and she ran with it. We talked for a few more minutes. Jim thanked me for being straight with him and said if I was ever in their area, I should stop by for dinner. Decent guy. A month passed. Then I got a text from a number I didn't recognize. "This is Monica. Laura's in the hospital." My stomach dropped despite myself. What happened? Panic attack. She's been having them constantly since the debt situation exploded. The stress is killing her. I hope you're happy. Is she okay? She will be. No thanks to you. Monica, panic attacks don't happen because someone refused to pay your debt. They happen because you created an unsustainable situation and are now facing consequences. You're heartless. I'm honest. There's a difference. She stopped responding. I called Jim to verify. He confirmed Laura had been to the ER for a panic attack but was home and okay physically. Mentally was another story. She's in bad shape, Jim admitted. Won't get out of bed most days. Just scrolls through her phone looking at her friends' social media, comparing their lives to hers. That's not healthy. No kidding. We're trying to get her into therapy, but she refuses. Says therapy costs money she doesn't have. There are free community services. We told her that. She says she's not going to some community clinic like she's poor. I didn't know what to say to that. The delusion was deep. 2 months after the bus ticket incident, I got a long email from Laura. No idea how she got my email since I'd blocked her everywhere else. Maybe she'd always had it and never used it until now. The email was 5 paragraphs of blame. How I led her on. How I made her think we had a future. How I abandoned her in her darkest hour. How a real man would have helped. How her life was ruined because I was selfish. Then the last paragraph. The debt company is suing me. They're taking me to court for the full amount plus legal fees. I'm gonna have a judgment against me. My credit is destroyed. I'll never be able to get a car loan, a mortgage, anything. This is your fault. If you had just helped me when I asked, none of this would have happened. I hope you can live with yourself. I read it twice, then I responded with 3 words, I sleep great, hit send. Deleted the email, blocked her email address. Final update, 6 months later, It's been 6 months since I sent that bus ticket. Life's been good, quiet, peaceful. I've been on a few dates, nothing serious yet. Work's going well. House projects are coming along. The whole Laura situation feels like a weird fever dream now. Then last week, I'm at the grocery store, and I run into one of our old mutual friends, Sarah. She was always more Laura's friend than mine, but was decent to me. "Hey, how have you been?" she asks. "Good. You?" "Good. Hey, did you hear about Laura?" "No, haven't heard anything in months. She's back in town, got a job at a call center, living with 3 roommates in some apartment complex on the east side. Good for her. She's different though. Like really different. Quieter, less social media. I think everything that happened humbled her. Sometimes hitting rock bottom does that." Sarah nodded. "She asked about you once. I told her you were doing well. She just nodded and changed the subject." "How much does she still owe on that debt?" "From what I heard through the grapevine, the lawsuit's settled. She's on a payment plan with the company, paying like $600 a month for the next 10 years or something. Her wages from the call center barely cover it and rent. She's broke." "That's rough." "Yeah. Monica stopped talking to her, by the way." "Really?" "Yeah. Apparently Laura blamed Monica for the whole refinancing disaster. Said Monica gave her bad advice. They had a huge fight and haven't spoken since." I shook my head. "Can't say I'm surprised. Laura's parents are still helping her, covering some of her bills. They feel bad." "They're good people," Sarah agreed. We chatted for a few more minutes, then went our separate ways. I thought about Laura as I drove home. Thought about how she could have avoided all of this. How a $300 monthly payment could have been manageable if she'd just lived within her means. How one terrible decision, fueled by entitlement and bad advice, snowballed into a decade of financial ruin. But mostly I thought about how none of it was my fault. How I dodged a massive bullet. If I'd caved and paid that $30,000, I'd either be out that money or married to someone who saw me as an ATM. Either way, I'd be miserable. That night, I was home making dinner when my phone buzzed. Text from an unknown number. "I'm sorry." That was it. Just 2 words. I stared at it for a minute. Could be Laura, could be spam, could be anyone. I deleted it without responding. Some people need to learn that sorry doesn't fix the consequences of your choices. It doesn't erase debt. It doesn't rebuild trust. It's just a word people say when they realize they've burned a bridge they wish they still had. I'm not that bridge anymore. I'm not anyone's provider except my own. And honestly, that's exactly how it should be.